The entirety of Nordics have given so much to the world, it's actually insane. Sweden has given the world the temperature. Celsius, a scale that the entire world except the US uses, is named after a Swedish astronomer. Minecraft is Swedish, the seatbelt is Swedish, the zipper is Swedish, PewDiePie is Swedish, and IKEA, Volvo, Bluetooth, and the adjustable wrench. But Norway was able to invent something much more unheard of in the world than any of the other Nordic countries did. It's called finding oil and not being a complete moron. Not in the European Union, but are in the Schengen area, so they get to enjoy the benefits of the EU without the disadvantages, such as sharing your money around. Norway is the top 5 richest countries in the world, at least, because some of these countries are debatable, and literally 80% of their exports are just petroleum. Then they used to be Vikings, then they just stopped giving a fuck when they discovered selling oil to Europeans and became stupid rich. They retained some of their Nordic ancestry though, as you can see, with the second biggest export of theirs after oil being fish. I can't speak on Norwegian people. I've only met 2 out of the 5 total Norwegians in the world, and one of them was an older lady that was touching me and harassing me when I was in Poland. But seeing as she was a Norwegian woman in Poland, it was probably her first time seeing a man with black hair and got a little too excited, and the second was a crypto bro. One thing I really respect about Norway is that they don't use their money like fucking morons like other oil-rich countries do. The year is 2045. Norway lives under Swedish rule. All Norwegian men are fed hormones, sissified and dominated. Game over, Norwegian boy. Why do you keep posting this? Ever since the day humans learned how to throw rocks, Danes and Swedes have not stopped going to war with each other, trying to kill as many of these savages that are totally different from them. Fuck you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! This is the funniest shit ever because Denmark and Sweden have been beefing since the beginning of time. They went to war with each other 44 times, and each time it was a different result. Swedes have that meat on them though, I can't lie, because for most of these wars, Denmark had an ally such as Norway that helped them in beating these savages who eat fish slightly differently. But despite Sweden being all alone in most of these wars, Sweden still won like half of them. There was even this one time where Sweden got jumped from Russia, Denmark, and Norway.
I want you to pull up. Please pull up. Watch your back. Nobody's behind me, brother. What's up, nigga?
I thought he ain't know me.
Hey, shit.
I thought he ain't know me.
On blood, I ain't
on blood. I thought he ain't know me.
You not blood. You not blood.
And the result was a favorable outcome for Sweden. And I love Swedes, I listen to Swedes, I play games made by Swedes, I sleep with one of them. Yeah, that's right. What do you think me and Leo were doing in Berlin, huh? You think 2 dudes go to Berlin and don't get freaky? No, sir. World War I and World War II happened, and it really didn't need to happen if Austrians just chilled the fuck out for a bit. But hey, now I get to see the German foreign ministry ratioing Russia's foreign ministry on Twitter, so I guess that was worth it. Notice how the 2 countries who do not fuck with the whole war thing, Switzerland and Sweden, are 2 extremely rich countries in Europe compared to other countries like Russia, where they have infinite resources, but instead of spending that money to improve their citizens' lives, they just use it to go to war with literally every single neighbor they have and more. Even though more than a fifth of the country does not have indoor plumbing, you're a doctor, you get up to 800 whole American dollars a month. You wanna dig trenches in Kursk? Wallahi, why didn't you just say so? Here you go, $4,000. Makes you think. What I mean by exploiting the stupidity of Europeans is that Sweden decided to not take any sides, so they didn't get sanctioned by the Allies or the Axis in either of the world wars. And they were one of the few European countries that both sides could trade with. In World War I, they gave both sides iron and timber, and in the sequel, they gave them iron and timber. At one point, Germany was getting 40% of its iron from Sweden, used to fuel his war. And for this part, I gotta bring in my goat, my homie, my husband. who is half Swedish and has been filling my brain up with Swedish propaganda every time we hang out. Geopol.
Right, so I've been employed to spread Swedish propaganda, essentially. You gotta think Minecraft, Blade, ABBA, IKEA, Dynamite. What would the world be without our great nation? Can you imagine life without guns, Minecraft and Blade? You can't. I know you can't. We have the most influential nation in the world. Now, you could take it from me, that's whatever. I actually took my friend to Sweden for like an hour, right? And I was thinking it might be a bit biased if you hear it from me, so let's hear what he has to say, yeah?
Oh, hi. What's up, everybody? Now, I've been to Sweden for an hour and I thought it was beautiful. Beautiful, very airport-like, I thought, my first visit. But on my second visit, I did manage to get a beer. That was very nice. Leo didn't get one because he's under 21. I recommend Sweden. Very nice country.
Also, I like to make fun of Denmark for genociding 17 million minks because of COVID. Yo, if you're watching this, do not be a mink in Denmark during COVID. You will not have fun. But also, they are still objectively one of the best countries in the world, just like the entirety of the Nordics are. It's always Denmark or Finland who gets ranked the happiest country in the world, with amazing social systems and safety. And what I really respect Denmark for is mainly three things. One, their cycling infrastructure in Copenhagen is absolutely amazing. I always fuck with cycling heavy, so they get many points on the board for this. Two, they made Lego. So they literally contributed so much to most children's childhoods that probably no other toy ever has. And three, their undying support for Ukraine. Bro, they literally emptied their entire stock of artillery to send it to Ukraine for usage. This is extremely based, and me and my Polish friends both agreed that Europe should be ruled by the Nordics because they clearly know how to make good decisions, instead of Germany, who decided that relying half of their country on Russian gas was a good idea. So what I'm suggesting is a personal union with Denmark because they have no mountains. Denmark is the second flattest country in Europe after the Netherlands, and we have the tallest mountains in Europe. See where I'm getting at? Gattsu! Don't go into a personal union with Denmark. Finland is by far the most different place in the Nordics. Finland was a part of Sweden, and then they went to war and Finland became a part of the Russian Empire, and then started their massive alcohol problem. You see, in the Nordics, it is very cold, isolated and rural. Even today, none of those things have changed. You know what has changed? Rules and taxes on alcohol. Danes, Swedes, Norwegians and Finns were all alcoholics, and the entirety of Nordics was just drinking spirits. But after imposing heavy taxes on alcohol, in Sweden, battling their alcohol problem since 1591, they eventually stopped and now drink one of the lowest amounts in Europe. Finns could never though. They have the highest tax on alcohol in the European Union, and still the undisputed, undefeated champion of drinking in the Nordics is Finland, and that is never changing. I've met a couple of Finns in my life, and the way Finns drink is just admirable. It's a work of art. The thing is, Finns have been discriminated a lot by the other Nordic countries and called stereotypes like rednecks and alcoholics and Asians. And all I'm gonna say is, yeah, they do come from Asia and drink a lot of alcohol. But for the redneck thing, it's disputable, okay? Let me see you not drink a lot and do wild shit when you live in the middle of nowhere and literally only have 25 hours of sunshine in the entirety of January. Let me see you tough that out. My city gets as much sunlight as like Spain, and I still see motherfuckers tweaking on alcohol in bars. Here's a picture of allegedly me with allegedly a vodka bottle in front of a police car in Tbilisi. Finland has also given the world a lot of things like the internet browser, saunas, Molotovs, Nokia, Linux, Alan Wake 2, Angry Birds, the heart rate monitor, and the list goes on. I think the European Union and the Schengen area is very good because it has united Europe and prevented so many wars, including in the Nordics. But even if the European Union never existed, the Nordics would be united under one thing: snus, or Zins in the US. You see, in the Nordics there is this one snus called Siberia -80, which has 32 milligrams of nicotine in each pouch. In the US they only have 3 to 6 milligrams zins, which makes the Siberia -80 5 to 10 times stronger than the ones in the US. So I got my own snus in Georgia, which were 30 milligrams per pouch, and I'm gonna try it. All right, what's up? So I got these. It is 30 milligrams per pouch, so fuck it. Not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad right now, but they usually get worse, you know? It's not too bad. I think I need something to go along with it. Fuck. Perkele. Well, actually, it does have hit. It does hit. So yeah, I honestly think if you take this instead of like just normal snus, like you have like willingly, you know, like you have options in the store and you buy this, you're cooked. Like you're genuinely you're some sort of a masochist, honestly. But it is a fun party trick if you want to make like your friends puke. Or if you just don't fuck with someone at the party and want to like embarrass them, just give it to like, bro, this is weak, bro. This is like 5 milligrams. Give him, so he will just like double snooze it, right? And then he'll just get cooked. Like he'll either pass out or puke. Oh fuck. Ah shit. Okay. Fuck. Ah shit. Okay. It does have a feels like someone is stabbing you, you know? Yeah, I can still feel like the side of my mouth where I put it in is just like burning up. Snus were invented in Sweden and spread to the other Nordic countries and then the world. And now around 1.1 million out of Sweden's 10.5 million people use snus yearly. Åland is an autonomous region within Finland where the daily life is based on my summer car. I even have a magnet of it up on my fridge. And because Åland is a bunch of little islands, the population is spread all across these islands. And only 30,000 people live in Åland. And absolutely nothing goes on in Åland. And because people are spread all over these islands, they use ferries to get across. Oh, and fun fact, they all speak Swedish. But if they're a part of Finland, why do they speak Swedish and refuse to speak Finnish? I will take just 30 seconds to explain this. According to the 2 islanders I've spoken to out of their population of 3, they tell me that Åland is not a part of Sweden because, quote-unquote, Swedes are pussies. And according to my Swedish friend, we occupied Finland for 700 years. They can have these little islands, bruh. And I'm not even gonna discuss who's right. Feel free to start a race riot in the comments. I encourage it, actually. Go start a race riot in the comments. But usually with countries having territorial disputes, I say just give it to the UK. Åland, UK. Israel, Palestine, give it back to the UK. Now no one's happy. Lap is a slur for the Sami people. The Sami are people that have inhabited the Lapland region for thousands of years and before the Finns got there. They speak their own language and have been discriminated by these countries, but then the Nordics stopped treating them like second-class citizens after like 1 billion years and started recognizing their language and existence. There are around 100,000 Samis in total, and they were called primitive and uncivilized. And in the 1920s and 30s, Norway's and Sweden's top race scientists got together. They got some measurements and determined that 1, Finns are not white, clearly, and 2, the Sami are even less white, and to not mix with them. These people wanted to ban snow bunnies! Hell nah, Norway! This is where I draw the line! So since the Nordics got their stuff together now, it would also be nice if the region where the Sami live wasn't called a slur for them with land next to it. Just call it Sapmi or Samiland instead of Lapland. And if Finland changes their region's name to Samiland, they will officially be the most based country in the Nordics because they have the coolest sounding language and the best vodka and arguably the best video games. Remedy Entertainment is very good, but Sweden has Minecraft, so it's also kinda unfair. Now, how the Nordics treat prisoners is an extremely controversial take which literally no other place on the earth shares. You see, in Norway, a mass shooting happened by a neo-Nazi where 77 people lost their lives. Now, if that happened in Georgia, they would put that guy under the prison with 7 DDs in his cell, 1 for each day. And this motherfucker got a better prison than the apartment my rich friends had. I was like 10 years old when that shooting happened. I was looking at this in my commie block and I was like, what the fuck? Finland and Sweden do the same thing. However, this method clearly seems to work.
But only 20% of inmates re-offend after 2 years. In the US, it's 60%.
Their whole ideology is instead of punishing the prisoners for the crimes they did, they try to rehabilitate and help them and integrate them back into society. They also forbid the use of torture or any other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment as punishment. Before this, they had a system that every other country has of just punishing the prisoners for the sake of punishing them, and their reconviction rate was 60 to 70% in the 80s. And it dropped this drastically after they started treating prisoners as humans. The people that work in those prisons are called officers rather than guards, and they must complete a 2-year program in correctional studies to work as a prison officer, rather than grabbing some buff policeman and putting him as a guard there. And the training includes written exams in Norwegian and English, physical fitness tests, law, ethics, criminology, English, reintegration, and social work. There's a place called Holden Prison in Norway, and this place is balling. Each prisoner has a private bathroom, a TV, and a window that looks over leafy scenery. And the prison itself has a fitness center, library, chapel, family visiting center, and a fucking recording studio. Hey man, Varg needs to make his music somehow. There's definitely a lot other countries can learn from the Nordics regarding their prison population, but also Norway spends 3 times as much as the US does on rehabilitating its prisoners. And a lot of countries don't have enough money to put TVs in prison cells, but treating people nicely is free. And I think there is definitely a cheaper way of implementing the Nordic model, because giving prisoners a library and treating them nicely isn't that groundbreaking. By the way guys, I would really like to recommend you Away Days. It's an independent documentary series made by Jake Hanrahan, the founder of the amazing Popular Front, and I would really recommend going to their channel and checking out their trailer to see what it's about, because it is very, very cool, and I cannot wait until season 1 drops, because Jake does actually make amazing documentaries you can just see on Popular Front. And just so you guys know, I'm not getting paid to say this. I actually enjoy Jake's documentaries. I'm doing this for the love of the game, so I really recommend you guys go and check out Away Days and subscribe to their channel. All independent, 4K, always cool things on the screen. What more could you want? Check their trailer out and subscribe. You wouldn't think this, but Eastern Europeans and Nordics have a lot in common. Mainly the intense hatred of the Russian Federation. That is of course because of the Winter War, where this guy killed 500 Soviets on his own, and this guy, who got ambushed by the Soviets and in a fit of running away, accidentally took a dose large enough for 30 men of super Nazi meth, all on his own. Afterwards, he started tweaking, started seeing things and got delusional. He was stranded, tweaking, no food, and no one along with him. He got lost. Then he skied 400 kilometers or 250 miles, exploded on a landmine until being found 2 weeks later, alive. They took him to a hospital where they found that his weight had reduced to only 43 kilograms or 94 pounds, and his heart rate was around 200 beats per minute. For example, this is a song in 200 beats per minute. Yeah, this was his heart. He died in 1989 at the age of 71. Huge thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.
Esse galo,